Trump told the people in this country exactly what he plans to do. And you must keep in mind that Trump's promises, where it concerns things negative and destructive, are always followed through on. Trump's kind of lip service to good things is never followed through on because he's an evil, rotten son of a bitch. But he said he would use military force against his political opponents. And that means people demonstrating in the street. You know, First Amendment stuff, the right to petition Congress for redress of grievances, the right to freely assemble, right? Gone. He would fire thousands of career public servants. That is something the Nazi Jew Stephen Miller and the Nazi Christian Steve Bannon have made very clear is their objective, to destroy what these sick son of a bitches call the deep state. Those are the public servants who make sure that things get done in this republic. Gone. He's going to deport millions of immigrants in military-style roundups. That has been the centerpiece of this filthy son of a bitch since he crept out of his goddamn penthouse in the sky back in 2015. He tried to destroy Barack Obama by calling him an illegal immigrant. But now that he has absolute power, which the 6 fascists on the Supreme Court gave him, he's going to do it. He really is. He's promised he'll crush the independence of the Department of Justice. It's now going to become his personal fucking attorney, the Attorney General. And the Department of Justice, you know, it was put together after World War II to protect the rights of black people who had been recently freed from enslavement. Trump is going to turn that into an instrument of oppression. All this fucking talk about, well, they've militarized the Department of Justice against me. Oh, Jesus Christ. He's going to use the federal government, the Department of Public Health, Health and Human Services, CDC, all the public health agencies to push public health conspiracies. Bullshit, like this filthy, insane, brain-dead fucker Robert Kennedy Jr. is talking about. What was the last thing right before the election yesterday? They're going to remove fluoride from public water supplies. They're going to stop vaccination requirements for kids going to school. If you are a man or a woman, 25 years old, and okay, either you didn't vote or you voted for Kamala or you voted for Don, and you're thinking about having a kid, what are you going to do when the kid is ready to go to preschool and there's no longer any requirement for anybody to have vaccinations, any child? And you may think, well, I'm still going to have it done for my child. But supposing it has arrived at the point where a woman who is trying to have her life saved because she's going through a miscarriage, and she goes to a hospital and they more or less, figuratively speaking, tell her to go out in the fucking street and bleed to death. Because you're going to take your child to get vaccinations, you're going to find, well, they don't exist anymore. What? Well, yeah, that's what Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert Kennedy Jr. decided. No more vaccinations. And Trump has also promised that he is going to abandon America's allies abroad. This is the end, the official end of the alliances put together after World War II in the struggle against fascism that killed 60, 70, 80 million people. And out of that slaughter came alliances, including the UN, including alliance and NATO, alliances that so many left-wingers as well as right-wingers have badmouthed and said, why the fuck do we need that? Okay, well, we're not going to have it anymore. Donald Trump is determined to make this country stand on its own. You can't do that in a global society. It cannot happen. He is going to turn the government into something that he uses to assuage all of the grievances he has, all the shit, to finally get even at all the dirty bastards who have caused him trouble by taking him to court simply because he grabbed a woman by the genitals and slid his finger inside of her. Oh, for heaven's sake. They had the audacity to take him to court because he stole top secret documents and then showed them to our enemies. Oh, the grievances because he lied and cheated and stole from the people of New York on his goddamn business returns. I mean, it's just endless what this son of a bitch has done and how he feels he was the victim. Well, now he's going to get even. He's going to punish all of his critics, no matter how light the criticism was. How dare you? I am Christ, God, Jesus, Lord Donald Trump. How fucking dare you criticize me? The Supreme Court has said I am above the law, you fuckers. And he's going to richly reward his supporters. And he has promised that he's going to be a dictator with the addendum, well, only on day one. Oh, all right, Sean, day one, that's all just day one, right? And when he asked the people in this country to give him the power to do that, Americans said, yeah, you got it. All right, boss, go for it. Lisa Lehrer pointed out in the New York Times today that this was a conquering of a nation, this nation, not by force, but with a permission slip. And now here we are. I mean, this is what the Christian devils and the fascists, whether they're political or religion, this is what they have been working for toward. Some parts of the religious fascists have been in business since the 1930s, when Father Coughlin suggested that we should align ourselves with the Nazis and destroy these fucking Jews who killed Jesus Christ. That's what he talked about on his radio program back in the 30s. And the political fascists that tried to get rid of FDR, they tried everything. And in some instances, they succeeded in his socialist agenda, his democratic agenda, his left-wing agenda. So here we are. We now have, come January 20th, when this filthy son of a bitch takes office, a Nazi dictatorial, religious fascist style of governance foreseen in the almost 250-year history of this country. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.